Yo, welcome back guys. This is Adele singing When We Were Young. A few of you out there at least will know that I'm a big fan of Adele. I kind of rant and rave about her a fair amount. But I haven't yet reacted to her, so I figured we would chuck up a reaction today, have a look at something. This is When We Were Young, and it's live at the Church Studios. And this particular performance, there's a couple of interesting things that we can note and look at and kind of delve into. Adele's one of these singers that the voice coaching community kind of likes to lay into as this kind of poster child of what you shouldn't do as a singer. And my sense is that's very unfortunate. Adele is in the unfortunate situation where she's one of these kind of 95-5 singers. What do I mean by that? I mean, like 95% of the stuff she does is amazing, and 5% of the stuff she does just crosses the line a smidge. Unfortunately for singers who are really close to the boundaries in terms of healthy, unhealthy, or even in terms of how far can you take technique before you start crossing over into territory that's going to kind of tax your vocal cords or hurt you in the longer term. This is a hard question to answer, and one that is frankly not well understood by many people out there. Anyway, enough talking about Adele. Let's check her out and see what she's got in this performance. I'm a vocal coach, guys. I teach singing lessons over Skype. I have another channel and an ebook called Becoming a Natural Singer. Check out the links in the description.
Everybody loves the things you do, from the way you talk to the way you move. Everybody here is watching you, 'cause you feel like home. You're like a dream come true. But if by chance you're here alone, can I have a moment before I go? 'Cause I've been by myself all night long, hoping you're someone I used to know. You look like a movie.
Sweet.
You sound like a song. My God, this reminds me of when we were young. Let me photograph you in this light, in case it is the last time that we might be exactly like we were before we realized we were sad of getting old. It made us restless. It was just like a movie. It was just like a song.
You notice with Adele, she has a very great heightened ability to really squeeze down on the vocal cords and get a very full type of sound. Now, this is partly her skill set and it's partly her genetics. She happens to have thick vocal cords for a girl. A lot of girls, when they learn to squeeze, you know, even if they squeeze as hard as they can, even if they get those cords nice and tightly closed, they're not going to sound like Adele. You know, think of other great female singers of recent times, like a Sarah Bareilles, for example. She's got loads and loads of presence when she's singing, but there's not quite as much depth as with Adele, simply because they've got different sets of vocal cords. I would say closure adjustment is probably her biggest strength. She does have good range, but with her particular type of voice, it's not it's built a little bit more like a truck than a sports car, shall we say. So it's less designed for, you know, super agile, super crazy high range, shall we say. And it's more designed for taking lots of weight into the sound and backing off. And that's typically what closure adjustment is all about. There's a very tricky part as she goes into this chorus, and you'll see she kind of slips a little bit out the coordination. Listen to when she says B in a sec. Now that B right there is really, really tricky. Probably one of the hardest things that she sings in this song. Singing an E vowel in that full coordination, right up in the mix. It's really tough. The muscles that close your vocal cords have to work very hard on that narrow vowel when it's fully connected like that. And if you have any kind of trepidation in your mind, any sense of, oh, am I going to make this? It can be very, very difficult. You have to be absolutely committed. Now, the wonderful thing about Adele is she shows a lot of guts in this performance, because you notice she only slips once. She slips here in the first B. She has to hit it 2 more times in the song. 2 more times in the song. And the other 2 times, she slams it with absolute confidence. So I'm just putting that out just to show, like, these singers are having to really do something special, and you don't always get the chance to kind of see kind of what's under the hood a little bit. Me, a singer like myself, if I miss once, I'm probably going to miss again, and I'll probably miss a 3rd time, because my confidence is based on complete certainty. Without that, I'm like, oh my God, it's all falling to bits. Now, the professionalism a singer like Adele has is one mistake won't necessarily phase her and send the emotions out of control like it will do a struggling singer. She'll be able to compose herself and hit it the next time. So that's what's real impressive, partly about this performance. Now, we'll go into some other things a little bit later on in the song.
It was just like a movie. It was just like a song. I was so scared to face my fears, 'cause nobody told me that you'd be here. And I swear you moved overseas. That's what you said when you left me. You still look like a movie. You still sound like a song. My God, this reminds me of when we were young. Let me photograph you in this light, in case it is the last time that we might be exactly.
There you go. What I tell you, absolutely rock solid. This girl is such a gifted singer.
It was just like a movie. It was just like a song. When we were young.
Now let's pull out. So I've heard a fair amount of criticism, or not even criticism really. I've heard other coaches and I've heard people talk about vocal fry and how many female singers are employing it more these days. My understanding is people talk about this controversy, is it healthy, is it not? The long and short of it is this, is if you depend on connection to sing with, and that's really what fry is, it's connecting the chords. If you have to find that in order to sing on, if you can't just you can't just get the vocal cords to come together gently and find tone, you might get yourself into a little bit of trouble. Now, there's a few times in this particular performance where Adele kind of leans on the fry a little bit at the start of notes. You hear her kind of, I was so. It's not necessarily something that's going to hurt you, but it is something that you might want to watch out for if the broader technique is starting to lean on connection too much. The reason that might be a problem is because everything's a balance, essentially. We have to be balancing closure with airflow all the time. And if the lean goes a little bit more towards the connection and the squeeze, that can start to tax the vocal cords over, if you're doing, it won't tax them initially, it might tax them over an hour or 2 hours of singing. If there's all the time. Now, the thing about Adele is she doesn't need that fry in order to connect and find the coordination. So she could get a little bit of guidance in terms of, look, you could hit it with the fry. Let's go hit it without the fry just to find it on different types of sounds so that you don't necessarily feel like you have to bring the fry together all the time. It's something that you can use stylistically. You want to have the option to come into that note clean or with fry or whatever we need to do. But we don't want to have it a crutch. The fry shouldn't be a crutch. That's about all I would say on that. Do I think that it's, any cause of her particular vocal injuries and things? I would say probably not. I'll cover at the end a little bit where I think that she could make some small adjustments that might help her in the longer term. The big strength of Adele as well is, you notice when she sings these choruses, she opens up so wide, so easily, and it stays absolutely free most of the time. And it stays all the time in this song, but I'll cover that a little bit later.
Like a movie, it was just like a song. My God, this reminds me of when we were young.
Check out, mouth open. Look at that, absolutely no problem at all. And you hear the vowel, you hear an all the way through that slide. Very, very good. This is all healthy.
It was just like a movie. It was just like a song when we.
There we go. I'd love to meet this girl and have a chat with her. So there's one bit at the last chorus there where she kind of grinds down. That kind of thing, done tastefully here and there in spots isn't something that's going to hurt you. If you're doing that all the time, it may well do. But she doesn't do it much, and she does it just for stylistic effect on one particular couple of notes in the song. No big deal. Adele's biggest strengths really is she combines high-level technique with great genetics, i.e. she's got those big fat vocal cords that give her a lot of tone and presence in the sound. That's an advantage she has over other girls. She combines that with a real emotional connection to the lyrics and the song, which is really what great artists do. Now, where does Adele slip up? In not many places. Not in this song at all, really, other than maybe a little bit too much leaning on the fry, as I was talking about earlier. But I don't think that's something that would hurt her, really. There's something else that she has here and there that I think is probably a little bit more risky, shall we say. When she opens up wide, at times, there's not any examples in this song. Sometimes she slips out of mix just a smidge. She gets a little bit too much sound out the mouth, and it gets a little bit out of control. It will only happen maybe on 2 or 3 notes in a song, or over a set. You add that up a few times, couple of times in one song here, a few times in one song there. Over a set, it's going to tax the vocal cords a little bit. It's going to irritate them a little bit. This is key for girls because their vocal cords are very thin. And I said she's got fat vocal cords. Yeah, for a girl. But girls in general have thin vocal cords, short vocal cords. They're delicate. They tend to suffer from vocal injuries more often and are more likely to suffer them than men. So they have to be particularly careful with their technique and when they're crossing the line and when they're not. The sound drops out the mouth, you push a bit. The problem with the yell is that there's a big yelling spectrum. And Adele's yell is like just the tiniest of yells. It's not as big as some people make it out. It's a very small yell. It's a yell where rather than balance, she just slips out like 5%. But that 5% multiplied over a whole set, or day in, day out singing, that's what's going to hurt her. The chances of her finding this kind of help, basically 0. Unfortunately for her, there's too much money involved, too many professionals involved, and she'll get dragged around all over the place until she has no voice left, more than likely. I'm starting to understand this stuff now, but it's taken many years. There's a few other coaches out there that could help her, but she's unlikely to ever find them. All that being said, I do hope that she can manage to keep her voice together. I want to see this girl singing in, 10, 15, 20 years time as well as she is now, because she is one of the great artists of the last decade. Very authentic, laser-like technique, a uniqueness, a lovely combination of her own kind of take on things and dragging, that old rock-solid technique from the past, the gospel era and all that stuff, dragging that into the 21st century. As always, guys, hit me up in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about Adele, and if you've got any other ideas for reactions, hit me up and let me know. If you've liked this video, hit the thumbs up. If you've loved it, hit the subscribe, and I'll catch you again. Have a great day wherever you are, whatever you're up to. See you soon. Bye.